Has your hunt been ruined before you even get to the blind? Today, we're talking about access and the importance of it here on Landbeat. All right, guys, wrapping up a consult here in North Missouri today and working with new landowners. They bought this piece not too long ago, and as most places, most recreational places, they bought it and there's blinds and tree stands all over the place. But working to this farm's advantage is access on the northeast corner, the southeast corner, and the entire western side, and across a portion of the northwest corner as well. So this place is awesome. You can't see it from the roads. It's very, very private. And with that access comes the opportunity to sneak in and hunt the edges. But as now you're probably seeing from drone footage, that's not the way this farm was set up previously. Previous ownership had this set up to a way that essentially you use that access to then get to the center of the farm. You're covering a lot of ground, putting a lot of territory behind you where deer you're either going to encounter on your way to the stand, or during a hunt they're getting downwind behind you. So the value of those four corners and the access is really shooting yourself in the foot if you're taking that type of approach. We come from the mindset that deer have four legs. They're not afraid to use them. So don't hunt deer as if you have to feel like you're pushing to them. Create the scenario with layout, habitat, food to cover, orient it in a way that allows deer to come to you so that you keep the center of this farm as secure as possible. Build in cover towards that center, and they work out towards the edges. They're very safe in the center, can't be seen from the center, and even as they work closer to the edges, that's where your access on this specific farm is really going to shine, coming in from those corners on that whole western side. Oftentimes people, when we arrive to a consultation or reviewing what people have done previously, their hunt strategy literally just picks up from where the last person owned it. And that's one of the worst things to do. Really come into a property with an open mind. Even if the people had success in the past, that could have been a flashy rut type hunt. It could have been one where you don't know the wind scenarios. All the reasons to really restructure the hunt strategy, consider the access, and hopefully you guys can get your hands on a piece that has access like this and build in a fantastic layout that is going to allow you to take advantage of that access and hunt deer where they hardly even know you're hunting them. That's the value of having multiple places to access, multiple winds. So make sure when you're getting a new property, you're using a Whitetail Properties agent, but also you're not picking up where the last folks left off. Reconsider the access, create that new plan, and move forward. So there's a couple scenarios on this farm that the road or the access right off one of these corners, you're literally driving or walking down and through some of the best cover on this entire portion of the property to get down to kind of a main artery of the farm where there's green field and a blind. But you have to put so much good quality cover behind you, and that really defeats the purpose of that cover and devalues it greatly just to get to a place where deer, sure, in a corridor scenario when the rut's on, that they're probably running. That doesn't mean that's the only place that they're traveling during the rut. There's other places to hunt. Don't walk through that cover and don't put it behind you. If you will, respect the cover and know that you should be hunting downwind of it and not walking right through it. Another scenario that we're seeing here on this farm is as you're coming through one of the gates, you're driving or having to walk on a ridgetop, the spine of a ridgetop that is a wide open ag field, to maneuver through 300-400 yards of wide open field to get down to a point or a perspective to where you can look down into a bottom ground area. Again, covering so much ground across the open through food sources to be able to get to a corridor. Deer don't just travel the corridor and don't feel like you have to go to them and expose yourself with incredible visibility to the deer that you're chasing just to be able to get there. So not everyone is in a situation where you have such great points of access or multiple points of access. Sometimes you own a farm where there's one way in and it's the same way back out. So in those scenarios, what you really have to do is become very disciplined. Of course, we need to talk about the layout of the features, where you're holding deer and bedding thickets, where you're trying to move them through the farm through natural pinches, with food, the bed to food kind of pattern. But really more simply than that is you have to look at the access and you have to learn to respect the limitations of that access. And then you build in the strategy and the discipline to not hunt where you counteract those limitations, right? So you have to honor and respect the limitations of the farm and hunt when the scenarios best line up for the farm. So let's say the farm sets up and you can really only hunt on south winds because your access is from the north. Don't hunt north winds all that often or very, very minimally. Then you're probably going to allow that farm to rest, be more secure. Your time to strike is on south winds. And if it's the opposite, your access is from the south, you probably should be hunting and favoring more of the northerly type winds and not hunting south winds. You're going to blow out your place. Don't blow out your place. Be disciplined and know that the sets that when you're there on the right winds are going to be far better. They might be less or less numerous, but they're going to be far better, higher quality hunts when you respect it and you learn to hunt disciplined.